One of the questions we get sometimes is, what is the difference between Xvox Pro and Xrack Pro? And the follow-up is usually, can I use Xrack Pro on vocals? Well, in this video, we're gonna answer those questions and talk about specifically what the differences are between them and when you might wanna reach for Xrack Pro on vocals. Let's get started. So fundamentally, both Xvox Pro and Xrack Pro feature a streamlined workflow that makes it incredibly musical and intuitive to dial in your mix and get great sounds. You can see how easy it is to swap out entirely different algorithms like different compressors, saturations. Over here, we can swap out different reverbs in Xvox Pro, all with just a click. Plus, all the controls are very musical and easy to understand. So you're not gonna spend hours trying to figure out how to dial in a sound you want. You're just going to be able to tweak it to exactly what you want right away. So while the workflow is similar between these two, under the hood, it's a completely different set of tools. Xvox Pro features a set of tools that is specifically designed for processing vocals. And everything about Xvox Pro is optimized for vocals. From these custom hybrid compressors to the specialized vocal tone curves, to tools like the gate and de-esser. You also have reverb and delay in Xvox Pro as well, and even SFX like telephone or the pitch widener. Xrack Pro, on the other hand, has a very different set of modules. You have a saturate module, dynamics, which features a transient shaper, great for drums and percussion. We have a much more expansive tone section with analog matched tone curves, a modulate section featuring a pitch drifter, and this maximize module, which has a multi-band dynamics processor, as well as this max slider and clippers. So already you can see how under the hood, these are very different tools for different purposes. Xvox Pro has everything you need for processing a vocal to take it from completely raw to a fully polished mix. And Xrack Pro is more of a collection of a bunch of amazing analog modeled algorithms with a streamlined workflow. You've got tools for drums like the transient shaper, you've got tools for low end like the sub slider, and even the compressors and saturate modes and tone curves. They're all incredibly versatile and can be used everywhere on your mix, from the mix bus to specific instrument tracks. So that begs the question, can you use Xrack Pro on vocals? And the answer is, of course. Just like you can use any compressor or any EQ on your vocal chain, you can absolutely use these compressors and EQs and saturation tools on your vocal. Now, you would likely still need to use a de-esser, some reverb and delay, some other vocal effects, but you can absolutely use Xrack Pro on vocals for compression and EQ. Now, on the flip side, Xvox Pro is really designed specifically for vocals. You can, of course, get creative with it on other sources. Sometimes we'll use it on guitars or other instruments. And there's nothing wrong with using it anywhere it sounds good to you. So now that we've talked about what the differences are, I want to show you some of my favorite ways to use Xrack Pro on vocals. You can find a ton of videos on our channel for how to use Xrack Pro on pretty much everything from guitars to drums to your mix bus. But I want to show you a few vocal specific uses that I find myself using Xrack Pro a lot on. The first is on the overall vocal bus. You can see I've got Xrack Pro loaded up on the all Vox bus. And the reason I like to use it is this maximize module, specifically the multiband dynamics. Now this multiband dynamics can reproduce the exact OTT effect in Ableton with the OTT mode, but we can also use this open mode, which I like to think of as OTT light. It's all the openness and character and tone you get from OTT, but without the extreme smashing of the transients. Listen to how this glues and opens up the vocal.
Yeah, we could just fuck around for a minute, get to know the city limits on the saying better if you're feeling something, won't admit it. Say whatever you wanna say, but you're making me feel some type of way.
Now it's important to note that I've already got Xvox Pro processing each of these vocals individually. And that's where we're getting the bulk of the compression, de-essing, EQ, reverb. But this is just kind of as an overall bus layer, lifting all the vocals up.
Yeah, we could just fuck around for a minute, get to know the city limits on the saying better if you're feeling something, won't admit it. Say whatever you wanna say, but you're making me feel some type of way.
And Xrack Pro is just a fantastic bus processor on really not just vocals, but any type of instrument bus as well. You can do a lot with all the tone, dynamics, saturation, and especially this multiband dynamics. Another time I might use Xrack Pro on vocals is if I'm doing some very specific sound design and I really want to have fine control over the filters and maybe access to some of these other tools. So like, let's say I wanted to make this sound kind of retro indie crushed sound effect. I could do it really easily with Xrack Pro.
But we could just fuck around for a minute, get to know the city limits, on the say it better. If we're feeling something, won't admit it. Say whatever you wanna say, but you're making me feel some type of way. I wasn't even gonna go out tonight, I met you though, and you're taking me to places that I've never seen before. We could just fly a band away.
So we can dial that in really quickly with Xrack Pro. Of course, we could use effects within Xvox Pro as well. They're going to be different sounding effects like the amp or the telephone. We can definitely get creative with those as well. But in a case like this, where I'm just experimenting and sound designing, I find that Xrack Pro is just like having a different flavor of processor in your toolbox. And it can be cool to kind of abuse these analog modeled algorithms in order to get really cool sounds like that. Now, one more way I've been using Xrack Pro as it relates to vocals isn't actually directly on the vocal track, but on a track that I want to duck out of the way of the vocal. And that's because it has this sidechain tool built right in. So here we can select our vocal track from the sidechain in our DAW, and now we can apply compression to, let's say, our guitar track here so that it ducks out of the way when the vocal is there.
Voices in my head's getting overboard. I'ma need some time to breathe. Just let me be, yeah.
So you can hear when the vocal is present, the guitar is being ducked out of the way by this sidechain compression. And that can be a nice way to clear up some space in a mix when you use it subtly and in a tasteful way. So those are a few of my favorite ways to use Xrack Pro on vocals, but of course you can get creative with it and experiment with it in many other ways as well. I find that on my mixes, I'm generally using Xvox Pro on all the vocals, and then I'm generally using Xrack Pro on all the buses, on individual elements within the mix, and especially on the mix bus. But there's really no rule. You can of course use Xrack Pro on your vocals. You just want to make sure that you would also probably have a de-esser, some reverb and delay, and you might spend a little bit more time dialing things in to get the exact sound you want, whereas Xvox Pro is going to be a much faster, more streamlined workflow specifically for vocals. One other quick thing I wanted to mention is that even though there are both compressors and tone curves in Xrack Pro and Xvox Pro, under the hood, even the dynamics and tone modules are completely unique. The compressors are all different, the tone curves are all different, so there's really no overlap between the two. You're getting 6 different analog modeled compressors in Xrack Pro, you're getting 5 specialized vocal compressors in Xvox Pro, and so in total you'd have 11 unique compressors between the two. And overall you're getting 28 unique algorithms in each of these tools for a total of 56 unique algorithms. So leave us a comment down below if you have any other questions or you want to see any other uses for either of these tools. We of course have a lot of videos on our channel on both, so you can dive into those and get a bunch of vocal mixing tips as well as just general mixing tips on our channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe for more tutorials like this, and as always, happy mixing.